It's a little funny in a way to find myself a monk and also someone who really doesn't like religion. And how those two things go together in my life is always a very interesting little battle. You know, I always disliked the glad handing and sort of the sheen of perfection that I ran into in the churches that I grew up in, and really kind of longed for just something authentic and something real, where it just didn't seem like, we were imitating something or putting on airs about being something very different from what we actually were during the week. It always troubled me that our Bibles, everyone in the family had their own Bible, and they basically all just stayed on the back of the seat in the back of the car. And on Sundays, we would be the only time they'd come out of the car to be taken into church, because after all, we had to check up on the preacher, make sure he wasn't teaching anything false. And so this kind of approach to religion really left a mark on me. I really didn't want anything to do with that kind of approach. Um, and so, there's a quote here that was sent to me by my friend Walton, actually. And it's from, I think, the writings of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic writings. And I've always appreciated the teachings of the Stoics. One of the things that he says there, he says that when crisis comes, we groan and we say, oh, I wanted to keep on learning. Keep on learning what? If you didn't learn these things in order to demonstrate them in practice, what exactly did you learn them for? And I love that notion, just that constant reminder that religion isn't about philosophies, dogmas, and doctrines. It's about learning to be a lover, learning how to care about people more than you care about your own self, learning how to push through your moods so that you can be there to lift someone else up when they need you. Of course, we take care of those needs internally. That's really what religion does. It gives you that inner confidence, that knowledge of yourself by a constant, unending sense of discernment, a discernment for watching the mind and seeing how it works, for knowing who you are inside when nothing is telling you, to come to your own understanding that you are composed of love and wisdom through being, and that this moment is that divinity that you seek, and to find it by learning to stop being drawn and pulled away by all of the other things going on around us, the stories and narratives of mind, which pollute our moment and remove us from our freedom. In regard to that, another little quote from Marcus Aurelius was here. He says, as with impressions generally, you mean the things that the mind or that we notice during the day, he says, as with impressions generally, if you get an impression of something pleasurable, watch yourself so that you are not carried away by it. Take a minute and let the matter wait on you. Then reflect on both intervals of time, the time that you will have to experience the pleasure and the time after its enjoyment, that you will beat yourself up over it. Contrast that with how happy and pleased you'll be if you decide to abstain. If the chance to do the deed presents itself, take extra care that you are not overcome by its seductiveness, its pleasure, and its allure. Counter the temptation by remembering how much better will be the knowledge that you resisted. This is one of those things where the rubber meets the road. We don't find our pleasure or our fulfillment in things outside of ourselves, because those things outside of ourselves will not always be there for us. And so we find something within that gives us the bliss. We find that natural state of our character within that is full of integrity, that is composed of love, that is soaking in wisdom. And as soon as we leave the narratives of ego behind and the draws of the senses of the body and all of the moods and craziness of the mind, in that remaining silence, we find that we have always been that peace that passes understanding. We find that we have always been that love that we're looking for. And it changes us from being beggars in this world to being artists, to being expressors of this divine love. And if that's not happening, then what's the point of religion? Religion and life are the same. And the point of life is to live deeply with presence and awareness, and to live according to your nature, so that the byproduct will be a beautiful life.